Hey guys, so this is our Saturday chat. I'll just catch you up on whatever's going on with me, which honestly isn't a whole heck of a lot. I guess depending on how you look at it. Let's see. Still doing my daycare. Got a cold. Picked up a cold from the kids this past week. And I have to say, it really, I get it. Parents got to go to work, just like I have to work. I get that. But when you bring kids that are sick into daycare, it is a domino effect, literally. You're going to get everybody else sick. Just knock them down one at a time. And it can be, depending on what kind of illness it is, but especially with respiratory stuff, it can be very dangerous for infants, 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds. Children of that age is especially hard on. It can even be life-threatening, as we found out several years ago when one of my daycare kids got rushed to the emergency room, and then he was sent home from there, and then come to find out he had a bilateral infection in his lungs, bilateral pneumonia, I think it was, because he was so young. His temperature spiked, and nothing his mom did was helping, and he was put into the hospital, actually over inside of an oxygen tent, and I went to see him, and it broke my heart. I don't think he even knew I was there. It really broke my heart. And after that happened, I got really strict with my policy on bringing sick kids to daycare. I had kind of done away with my contracts and stuff when I opened back up after COVID, because my kind of policy then was like, okay, as long as you pay me, you have child care. You treat me right, I'll treat you right. But some do take advantage of that, and the contract is really the only thing that a child care provider has to protect them if they decide to take an action. Your child needs to stay out because they're exhibiting this symptom and that symptom and whatever. And, then if a parent bucks on you, you can say, you signed this knowing this is the consequence. You're going to have to keep your kid home. This is not something, because I have had in the past where, parents will try not to pay me, because their kid had to be out a certain number of days. And the other thing that the contract specifies is that you're not paying for the number of days, but you're paying for the space. That space in that child care center, that's what you're paying for. And you understand that whether your child comes one day or the whole week, your fee is the same, because it's not as if I can make that money up. So if a parent starts saying, well, I deserve a discount because my child didn't come every day, well, that's not how this works. That's not how any daycare center works. I've been thinking really hard and serious that if I'm going to continue with my daycare, I am going to have to implement my contracts again, because it really is, the only thing that you have to fall back on as a child care provider is that signed contract, that they know about your policies. And I'm going to have to get strict about my sick policies again. And if you guys think about it, when a child care provider becomes sick, it is so hard on us. Then we're left with, what do I do? Do I keep working and then continue to get the others sick? Do we keep going round and round and round with whatever it is? Or do I close down, and then all these parents get upset because they got to miss work? It's tough. I didn't close this past week, even though I've been really sick. It's been really difficult, especially when this moved into my chest. It was really hard to do much, I would have a hard time breathing because the stuff would just fill up so quick, and I'd have to sit down and cough it out, and parents really have no idea, so it gets difficult, and you have so much empathy for the kids once they catch it, but parents do bring them knowing that they're sick, not to be spiteful. They're not doing it, trying to be sneaky. They're just doing it because they got jobs to go to as well, They don't want to lose their job, and it's understandable. But one of the things I do tell my daycare parents in the beginning, when they very first start with me, is you understand that it's up to you to have backup care. That's on you. You need to have a plan in place where you have an alternative or an alternate method for having daycare should my daycare not be available. So, and I'm still dealing with the cough. So I guess that's where I am. Health-wise, that's my health update. As far as this cold is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and mention something that I really wasn't going to talk about. But I'm going to go ahead and mention it. My sisters are aware of this, but there is a growing concern within me, but let me preface this by saying I'm not mentioning this for any other reason except I want a record of it, if that makes any sense. So, God forbid something happened down the line, well, even my family will have a record of, okay, this is, she talked about this then, and da-da-da-da, and for someone else who might be going through what I've been going through. I know I found it incredibly helpful to watch videos of others that have dealt with what I possibly might be dealing with. And what they went through, okay. So, here's the dealio. And I'm really hesitant to even put this out there because I don't want the reactions. I don't want even the sympathy. I'm a very strong person. This is literally just to have a record and maybe to help comfort someone else. I mean, this channel is called Hearts United Gather Strength. So, and it would help me dearly if you have experienced this, that you give me your story, if you feel so led. So, I went to the doctor not too long ago, and it was just get things checked on, and the usual, get the blood work done, and I did the Cologuard screening. Now, that's the one that you do at home. If you're not familiar with Cologuard, I'll put a link down if I remember to do it. But and it came back positive. So I saw this before I even spoke to my doctor, because, the MyChart thing online. And I'm not going to lie to you, for about 2 or 3 days, I was in panic mode. Like, literal, oh my God, what does this mean? And so I did some research, and what it means is that the test is created to find abnormal DNA in your poop. And or blood. Now I have, I never really thought about stuff, after I got that that screening result, I started thinking about all the stuff that I've been going through symptom-wise. What was I having symptoms? A lot of things that I've been going through, I have chalked it up to, I'm getting older. I just turned 54. Things are happening to my body that I just can't control. And I just chalked it up to my diet, to getting older, this, that, and the other, working as much as I do. I've been working like 70 plus hours a week in August will be 7 years. And I hear people complaining about a 2 or 3 day 12-hour shifts, and I'm like, that ain't nothing. Get over yourself. It does take me forever to get over something when I get sick, even if it's just a cold. I've been thinking about, and my sister even pointed this out, how tired I am all the time. And I always thought it was just because of what I do for a living. When I say tired all the time, I mean there are more days than not where got no oomph at all. None. I go to sleep, I go to bed between 7 to 7:30, 8 o'clock, anywhere in there. Granted, I get up at 5, but, and I don't want to be TMI here, I don't want to gross you guys out, but when I do go to the bathroom, it's very unpleasant. Sometimes it can be very painful. Sometimes I will hurt, so bad, and like in my stomach, or when I go to the bathroom, and 90% of the time there's blood. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not. Now, just, there are other things that I'm going to spare you guys from as far as symptoms go. When we're talking texture, shape, I'll spare y'all for that. And sometimes, I have to, I try to be very careful with what I eat. Now, sometimes cravings take over. And I am losing weight. Now, I would love to attribute the weight loss to, I'm working really hard to lose weight, to my job. But I gotta say, what am I really doing? I'm not a dieter. It's not like I'm dieting. I can go all day and not eat because I'm working. And then I probably take in less than 1,000 calories a day, if not right around 1,000 calories. And that's just because I'm busy. But apparently losing 5%, as little as 5% of your body weight over a 6-month period of time is a red flag. I've lost more than 5% over 6 months. And I would want to pat myself on the back, oh, because I'm doing so good, or I'm changing this and I'm changing that in my diet. Now, I'm going to tell you, during my birthday week, I did gain 5 pounds. So I was like, okay, good. That's good. That's a good thing. And then it came right back off the following week. I don't know if my stomach was just full. I don't know if what. I'm still going to be happy, with the weight loss. That's not something I'm complaining about. And then there are just other things as I look back over the last year and a half or so, of just symptoms that I've brushed off. And it's real easy to brush off symptoms. Now, when my doctor called me, because she heard the panic in my voice, she says to me, if it's anything, okay, she said it's likely stage 1 or 2 and very treatable. She says when it gets to 3 or 4, that's when you have to look at things like radiation and chemotherapy. Let me stop right there. When you're on the phone with your doctor and they're using those words with you, words like radiation, chemotherapy, stages, your mind can't help but go to a place that you don't want to go to. And so she pretty much, calmed me down. And she's like, let's just take this step by step. The next step is to get a colonoscopy, which do you guys know those you can wait 6 months for one of those tests? So she gave me the number of several places. She referred me to this one place that can't even get me in for the office visit until August the 4th. That's just the office visit. And then they schedule the colonoscopy. And then she gave me the number of this one doctor, which I'm still trying to get a hold of. And she says sometimes she will bump patients up in cases like this. And it was that sentence, in cases like this, that stood out to me. And I'm like, cases like what? And I've expressed my concern to my sisters some, but I don't think I'm going to keep doing that. I'll update people as things go on. Now, one of my sisters is going to be there with me when I actually have the colonoscopy. And I guess I'll just have to shut daycare down that day or whatever. A couple of days, actually, I think. Because of just recouping from it, I guess, even though it's a very, I've looked a lot of stuff online, and it's not a long procedure at all. You're in and out the same day. It's the prep work that I'm told is pretty bad. And now I had one in my early 20s where they found an ulcer. And I didn't do any prep work for that one, except that not at home because I was admitted to the hospital because I was throwing up blood. And I had a very, very stressful job then. I was working for the state treasurer of Virginia. I was his nanny. Very stressful. And I was already in the hospital. And I remember having to swallow this chalky stuff and then they did an endoscopy and then the colonoscopy. I remember the colonoscopy, but I don't remember feeling any pain or anything. And nowadays, so much time later, I'm told the prep work is not as bad as it used to be. It even comes in pill form. And the procedure itself, you're basically out for it. If not under general anesthesia, then the medicine that they give you relaxes you so much that you're in la la land and you don't care. So that part I'm really not afraid of. And if they find something when they're in here, they can likely, if you assume that it's very early on, they can likely clip it out and remove it right then and there. So, I didn't even know that I was going to talk about this today. It's kind of been on my mind too, just so that, God forbid, anything happens down the line, I got a record here of talking about it. Symptom-wise, it's a daily thing. I'm paying attention to it more, of course, and I'm keeping track so that when I do go talk to the doctor, I can, when I see this gastro person, I can tell them, yes, this happened on this day, and this is what it looked like, and the bleeding and whatnot, and this is what I was feeling, and blah, 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 blah. So, and today is one of those days when I don't want to be too far from my bathroom. Part of that, I think, is due to the cold that's going through me. But I shouldn't be afraid to go to the bathroom. But I always am, because it is sometimes really painful, and usually I turn around and look, but I've gotten so used to what it feels like that the last few times I've gone in there, the last couple of days, I haven't really looked. Only because I kind of am trying to give myself a mental break, So yeah. So yes. Now, the Cologuard test do have, I think it was a 20% false positive return rate, which is I think they said 1 in 10 people, something like that. But on my brain here is that's an 80% correct result. That's what my brain hears. Like, if there's a 20% chance of rain, it ain't probably not going to rain, There's a 20% chance I'm going out here to win the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery. And I don't like sitting and talking to my sisters about this, because they can't understand. I don't think they can anyone can really grasp the concerns. I'll feel much better after the colonoscopy. Honestly, either way, whatever happens, so that at least then I know, okay, this isn't anything, or okay, this is what I'm dealing with. Now this is the way to move forward. So there's that. And I was going to talk about Angel in Disguise, but I think I'm going to do a separate video for that, because I don't want to combine her book with talking about my colon poop stuff. So, gonna think that's the major thing update, the major thing that I do, and right now it's happening, and it is on my mind constantly, and it's mentally draining the crap out of me. Which, and it's also another reason why I'm getting upset when kids are coming in here sick, because I don't know what's going on with me right now. I don't know where my immune system stands right now. And I just, and I had to have thoughts, what am I going to do about the daycare? If I am sick, like really, really sick, I just don't know. This daycare is my life, and it is my heart and soul. And I love these kids, and so I'm just waiting for after the appointment, after the colonoscopy, before I make any big decisions on anything. And I've also been trying to hire help so that maybe I won't have to actually close. I've thought about renting even another house to keep that homey feeling, just for that. But to do that, I have to have the income for that. And it's just a lot. It is a lot. And it's hard finding help. Oh my gosh, it's so hard finding the help. People come in here and they find out this is hard work, and it's not for everybody. My sister that's been helping me, she gave her notice, and I don't blame her. I mean, it's time for her to, she's got a lot on her plate, and her coming to work for me in the first place was just kind of a fluke thing. I mean, it was a blessing because, we've done a lot of talking, and I think there's been a lot of healing too that took place while she worked for me. So, and I've got this girl that's here as a summer thing, and then so I am going to be trying to find a full-time person, if not a director, and start moving into that part where I can take more time off and have someone here that can actually do what I do. But that takes money. So yeah. All right. I think there's really nothing else going on, guys. It's, life just moves forward. And all you can do is keep rolling with it. Keep rolling with it. What are your alternatives? When something just kind of suddenly like blows up at you, and all of a sudden this is happening and that's happening. You just got to roll with it. That's all you can do. And if something is happening to me, I'm just going to have to roll with it. And I know it's easy to say that now, but I like to think that if something is happening to me, then I'm just going to roll with it. Just going to roll with it. All right, guys. God bless, and watch for, right after this, I'm going to record my review of this book by Victoria Mary Clark. So, same outfits, same setting,